How's it going, everyone? Hope everybody is all good. Right, different video today. I want to walk you through a client testimonial and just a little bit of the coaching process, just so you can see how we go about these things. You see me with the whiteboard videos, the vlogs, but I wanted to delve into just show you someone's process, just so you can see how we go about things, and the point of call for some of these clients' transformations that I get. So let's start off with this one. This is Gary, one of my good clients, Gary. Now, Gary came to me in this spot here. So he was around 194, right? We started off, this was last year, July 16th, 194. Initially, when Gary came to me, we looked at it, we assessed his body composition, and initially, he's not in bad shape at all. But what we decided was what would be a lot better for him would be to drop some body fat up front to give him a longer runway to build out and go on a productive gaining phase. Because to try and build from here, he'd probably not have as much wiggle room as we'd like. So we wanted to get as lean as we could up front within reason, to then set the tone to build out. So that was the initial goal with the assessment piece when Gary first came to me here on the left. As I say, he wasn't in bad shape, but we wanted to drop off a little bit of body fat to set the tone to build out. So if you have a look, from July 16th all the way up until around the Christmas phase, we got down from 194 down to basically 168. So we dropped not far off 25, 26-ish pounds, and that's what that looks like. You might not think that that's close to 30 pounds of fat loss, and he hasn't got that much body fat to lose, but look, the proof is in the pudding. Now this here now on the right, that's what we ended up, and that is a much healthier position to then go on a building phase and still stay in decent condition while you're building. So the benefits of getting here to then start a building phase, just so much more beneficial, which I'm going to get into now as I show you some of his training clips and what we were able to do. But yeah, that was to set the tone. We wanted to get as lean as we could up front, and that's exactly what we done. So that's the initial start point. Now, as I say, 194 down to 168. Now, training wise, what did we do? Now, let me show you an example of his training split. So we basically went on nothing fancy. It was a 4-day upper lower split. I've got similar videos on my YouTube channel. If you go back a couple of months, you can look at a setup for an upper lower. But this was specific to Gary and for what he needed. Now, Gary came to me and he'd been doing way too much volume. He'd been doing 3-4 sets of a movement. It was 20 plus sets in a training session. And that was hindering his actual ability to get stronger and progress his lifts. So that was his bottleneck. He was held by, he was doing too much volume, so then his ability to recover from his sessions was affecting his ability to progress his lifts. So once, it was funny, once we started to really strip away the excess volume, even through the diet phase, Gary just went from strength to strength. Like, he progressed his lift all the way down on the diet phase, and he just put himself in a much better spot for when we built out. It was crazy to see, but I'm not surprised, because I've seen it countless times when people are just doing too much volume and you drop off, and then you get yourself just enough volume. Perfect. And again, we were leveraging training frequency to our advantage. We were hitting each muscle group twice a week, 3 or 4 days recovery in between bouts of stimulus for each muscle group. All of our sets were taken to a close proximity to failure, just no messing about. Now let me show you a little bit of a snapshot into Gary's actual training, just so I can show you. So when he started off, you'll see here, this is the 15th of July when we first started. This is week 2. He started off at his deadlift, 275, 295, 350. Now if I show you the set here, we go full screen. Now this was 315. Now it wasn't a struggle, it was pretty comfortable, but you can see this was his baseline strength. This is where he was. So he was not struggling to hit 315, but definitely not as strong as what we got to. So yeah, this was 315 for a pretty solid 6, but nothing compared to what we got to, which I'm going to show you now. So that was 315, and that was at the start. right? So fast forward, after we got all the way down here, we got ourselves as lean as possible. His lift still continued to trend down. He was around the 365, 370ish range on his deadlift by here. We set ourselves a good base to build out, and then this is what he hit on deadlift, more or less not far off a year later. So this was June the 2nd, so it was about 11 months after we started working together. Here's 405 for 6, and he absolutely nailed it. Have a look. So to go from 315 to 405 for 6, all while being in a better body composition, this was able to happen because he got as lean as he could up front, and then we built out from there, all while staying in decent condition. You know, you can see he's far from fat, he's in good shape, but this was all by, again, following a good training program where we just stripped away all of the excessive volume. We got lean up front, and then we built out, and he absolutely smoked 405, and there's more in the tank. So that's just a snapshot into what you can do, you know, by following a good training program, getting yourself lean up front, and then giving yourself a longer runway to build out from. It's good to see a snapshot of that. And just in terms of nutrition protocol on the way down, let me just give you a little bit of an insight into that. What was his calories and macros when we first started off? So to get from the 190 range all the way down to the 160s where we got, he started off around 2,000 calories, right? Protein was around 200, fat around 50ish, carbs around 190. Now protein for someone of Gary's size, around 1 gram per pound of body weight is going to be perfect. So he consistently pretty much nailed that range. Fat around 50 gram. We don't want fat too high. You'll blow through calories excessively if your fat intake is too high. And then carbs, you know, we want to keep carbs as high as we can. Vitally important for training performance. Better training performance through a diet phase, higher likelihood of retaining your muscle tissue. As I say, strength, size, both correlated. The stronger that we can remain on a diet phase, especially by biasing our carbohydrates pre-workout as well, a good dose of that, and that's what we've done. We biased a good 50-60% of our total daily carb intake was pre-workout. So for Gary, that was around 90 to 100 grams of carbs 2 to 3 hours before he trained, because that's when he needed his carbs most. In terms of calories, as we started to get a little bit leaner, we started off on 2,000, and we had to have a little bit of a dig down to 1,900. So we come from 2,000 to 1,900, as you can see here, and we stayed on 1,900, and we didn't have to change from 1,900 until the diet phase was done. So on average, we stayed around 2,000 to 1,900. In terms of his expenditure and steps, we started off 10,000 steps, and then we steadily increased those, and we finished the diet phase, and we were on around 12,000 average daily steps. So that was the game plan. We nailed our calories and macros, nailed our training plan, nailed our steps, and he was just super consistent across the board. And again, that's what brings these results. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of a snapshot into, you know, the journey of one of my clients and how we go about it. But yeah, just to caveat this video, what separates the good clients from the people who don't get results. Gary was just super locked in. Gary worked a busy job. He was traveling a lot for work. He always made time to hit his macros, hit his training sessions, preparation around food, just organisation around everything. He didn't make excuses. He just didn't miss. Every week was as best as he could possibly make it, and that was the key. And it was consistently doing that, and that's what brings these results. It's consistently following the plan. He checked in on time with me. Communication was spot on, and he just allowed me to do my job. And he's continuing to go from strength to strength as we speak. So yeah, just wanted to give you a little bit of a snapshot into the process of what it's like working with me and the results that we get. So if anybody is interested in online coaching and working with me directly, let me know. Drop me a comment down below. Shoot me a message on Twitter, Instagram. Just let me know, and I will get you sorted. We can have a conversation. Alright everyone, hope you like this style of video. There's going to be more of these coming as well, just showing you a little bit of an insight into my day to day and what we do. Okay, I'll speak to you in the next one. Have a good one.